your own game and see what you like. So after a random amount of seconds, and we'll have it run to completion, that something is going to happen, that the image is going to change. So we're going to say C, and we're going to say change image, and we're going to change image to one of our orange monsters. So we're sticking with the orange monster right now. Okay, now we need to wrap some of the behaviors inside this timer. All right, so we'll say that, let's put the timer up at the top, and we're going to add the change graphic. Oh, it already is wrapped in there by default, but we also want to wrap the animate behavior in there, and that should do it. Next, we want to add a rule. And so let's go here and add a rule. And the rule is going to say that when we click on the monster, so that would be a touch behavior. Oh, wait a minute. Let's first, we have to do, we've got it. Where is our rule? The rule says, there it is, when it is pressed, when the monster is pressed, that something's going to happen. And what's going to happen is that there is going to be a change attribute. And the attribute that's going to change is the score, because every time we touch it, we're going to get a point. So the attribute is game score. And it's going to change from the game score, whatever it is, to the game score plus 1. Okay, let's try that. Okay, now no monster is showing up because we've got to do something. Let's take a look. I'm going to click on this button to expand it. And what we have to do is we actually need to wrap all of these behaviors in a group. So I'm going to click on the group and bring it all the way to the top and drag the timer set in there, and you see that this is the timer behavior has a couple of attributes nested in there. I'm going to close it to make it smaller, and I also want to make the rule that something changes inside the group underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to save this and let's try it again. Yep, it randomly appeared, and we click on it. We got a score. Fabulous. Yes, things are working very nicely. Okay, so next we want to add some more pizzazz to when we hit it. One thing that we can do is that the rules, when it's pressed, that the game attribute, in other words, we get a score, happens. We also want to maybe make a sound. So we'll say add another attribute or behavior, and that's going to be play sound. And that sound is going to be thwack. The other thing we want is we have this graphic over here, this little, I'll show you, these little hit graphics that we want to show up when it's hit. We're going to have to do it in a kind of a special way. So how we're going to do it is we're going to go over to the actors, and we're going to create another actor, and that actor is going to be called thwack. Here I'm going to make it an animation. And I'll go over to the graphics, and I'm going to select all of the hit graphics and drag them in. Okay, so that graphic, well, we can see what it does. If I just bring this over here and just kind of test it, and there's this little spark, but that's not how we want to use it. We just want it to be ready. I'm going to go ahead and delete that for now off our stage, and we're going to go back to our monster, and after it plays a sound, we also want to add a behavior which is called spawn. And the actor that we want to spawn is going to be Thwack. And we want it to be in front of the actor, so in front of the orange monster. So we'll leave everything else as it is, but then we want it to destroy as once it goes through once. So we're going to add another behavior called destroy. Whoopsie. So I'm going to save that, and let's see if that in fact is coming through for us. At some point that actor is going to show up. When we hit it, a sound happens, and yay! Now the game is so short that we didn't even see if the little spark or hit graphic actually disappears. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go over to our actors, and I'm going to add a few more monster characters onto the stage. Just anywhere at this point, just to kind of test it. All right, save our game, and let's hit play again. Okay, it's not going away. And at this point, I think that in order to test our game, we're really going to have to make the timer, the game last longer. So let me bring that up to maybe 15 seconds. Now I'll play it again. Monsters appear randomly. We hit them. We get a point for each one. They randomly reappear. That's great, except our sparks aren't disappearing. Okay, so we got our monster selected. Let's take a look at why our sparks are not disappearing. All right, it looks all fine here. So let's go back to, let's select our Thwack graphic, our actor, and take a look at that. Okay, so the Thwack graphic, it is programmed to animate, and it's also programmed to loop and also restore to the actor image when done. Okay, well first of all, we don't want it to loop. We want it to just go through once. Okay, and if restore to actor when done, if we look at the Thwack graphic, let's look at the initial graphic that exists. So what exists is no image, but the color is white. Let's go ahead and change that to transparent. So what it's saying here is that it will go through once, and then it will restore to the actor image when done, and that would be transparent. So that should work. Let's go ahead and save this and play again. Yay! It works. So that's working very nicely, and they're popping up as they should again. And when we hit them, we get another point. Okay, so I want you to notice something. When we're playing this, the actors are appearing randomly. Sometimes they appear at the same time, sometimes not. Don't always like that they seem to be showing up at similar times, but they're not reappearing. Okay, they were just appearing, but they weren't reappearing. So we're going to have to do one more thing to our actor here, our monster actor. We'll click on this, and we're going to add a spawn behavior after the destroy. So we'll type in the spawn, and we are going to have it be the monster orange. Okay, let's now save that and try it again. But I might want to make the game, or actually let's go back to when they appear. So let's see the group timer. There we go. And the timer 1 to 8. Let's make it even a shorter time just for this demo. So 4, so that they show up quicker. And let's hit play. They're appearing. We kill them. And they're reappearing. That's nice. And they keep doing it. So just this vicious cycle of monsters showing up. That's awesome. So we are done with the programming for the monster. Now let's make things just a little bit prettier and more interesting. And that could really go on and on and on, but I'm just going to add a few things. First of all, we want to add a sound to the first scene when he clicks the button. So over here, you know, when you hit the play button. So click on the play button, and I'm going to say that when it's touched, that it changes scene, but before it does that, it's going to play a sound. Whoops, I'll do it right here. Play sound, and that sound is going to be I'm not really sure, so let's actually maybe the pop one, or pop 2. And I want this to happen before the change scene, otherwise you won't hear it. Let's move the order of those, change that. I want to warn you that sometimes when you make changes like this, it doesn't register in GameSalad, at least in GameSalad PC. So what you might want to do is try restarting your game and then playing it again, and you may find that the problem is fixed. And the other thing is I want there to be music when we're on the start page. So I've got the background selected, and I am going to, along with the animate, I'm also going to add a play sound. That I am going to choose the intro, and that is what I downloaded on freesounds.com. So that is not a part of Mr. Stevenson's sounds. And we'll have it loop but not run to completion, because if we had that, then it would continue to play on and on to the other scene. So that should do it. Let's go ahead and save that. Let's hit play now to see how that works. There's our nice music. Okay, very good. The last critical component is to have the score, the final score, show up on the game over page. So let's go ahead and add that. What I'm going to do is add the score graphic. Let me put that here, and we'll add the score graphics over to this page. Next, I'm going to add another text behavior to have the words final show up below the word score. So I'm going to add a text display behavior. It starts with display.